my tongue. There's a sarcasm waiting for you.
Look at that. Look at that. That is awesome. Honestly, as I grow up, I really actually start to enjoy the finer things in life. This whole thing obviously is not ours. We don't own all this. Obviously over here is a whole campground with a beach house and everything. That is not ours. It is actually the landlords. The people who own this place are really good friends of ours, and they graciously let us get the spot for like really next to nothing compared to what everyone else charges. The lot fee is going to vary no matter where you're at. Some places it's going to be $800 or $1,000, like when you're in Texas by a lake for some reason. When you're out in Montana, the average price is probably like $500 a month, and you have electricity, or maybe you own your own piece of land. So that really varies. The point of this video is just to show you what you can do with little money. We definitely didn't have a lot of money. We got some stuff done, but we're going to start right here. This is our well house. It gets cold in the winter, and you cannot leave your well pump exposed. All this is just to get by for the winter. I have yet to finish it actually. So this is a half door, and if you pull this one, they both open. It's actually kind of cool. This is still an ongoing project, but this is the pipe with the well pump, the sump pump thing that's like way down there. It's also got a hand pump, but the problem is we didn't want it to freeze, so we had 2-inch I think this is an R10. Yeah, we got 2-inch Dow foam board. I still have to finish up the back there. I've got some scraps down here, and then obviously I got to reorganize because all this is just thrown everywhere. I'm thinking just for a temporary solution, we might do like a tarp over the top and then just kind of staple it in for the winter. I really don't want to drop another $300, $400 on sheet metal to get this done. Might not cost that much for the panels themselves, but for the trim pieces and everything, for it to look all nice, it's gonna cost a pretty penny. The fence is a really cool one, and I did not really take as much time as I wish I could have. Yes, there is a gap there. I miscalculated a little bit, but gate aside, this whole panel, all these panels that you see, we have chain link. Okay, let's start at the back. I just did this to kind of close in this area because I got my grill here, grill there. This is really cool, actually. My kitchenette, which is actually a mess. But the point was just to kind of close this in. This is not how I would normally have done it. It works, okay? The chain link was actually from a friend who had a bunch laying around, and so we got these and these poles for free. I did cement each and every post, because as you can see, there is rocks everywhere. So if that tells you anything about the landscape out here, I originally tried this without using cement on the post, but it really didn't work. They didn't stay, and every time you would like just barely push it, it would go. I ended up putting about 2 to 3 bags per post. Every post in between, I did 2 bags, and then over there on the end with the last post, which is kind of buried back there, I did another 3 bags. And that leads me to this. My wife really just wanted a doghouse for her dog, who really doesn't really use one hardly ever. She likes to just be inside most of the time. So with this, we just needed something to house our dogs if things got like really tight inside and we just wanted some space. Now, it did not get finished. It didn't get done the way I wanted, the way I thought. I thought, if I just use pallets, it's going to be super easy. I should have just done stick frame and then just framed it in. It would have been so much easier. There's sometimes you got to save money, and other times you just kind of got to rip the Band-Aid, because this was one of those times we should have just ripped the Band-Aid. I had to tear out all the middle sections. I pretty much had to dismantle the entire pallet board just to frame it in anyways, so it really was a waste of time. I did get the cheapest metal I could to try to frame it in, and then used a bunch of that spray foam stuff, and it just the least proud thing that I have here that I've done, and I wish I just would have spent a little more time on it and done it correctly. Now back to the regular fence. I got every single pallet for free. It did take a while, and I really had to rummage through and find good ones that were usable, and I'm still really not happy with some of them, especially on this last section of fence. Now, obviously, I don't engineer. I'm not an architect. I'm not great at building things, but I'm just kind of learning as I go, and in this case, this was too long. This puppy was 16 feet long. Now that is way too long. This one I think is like 12 feet long, which is a lot better. It doesn't sag in the middle as much. What I ended up doing for this first panel in this first section was I got coal lumber from Home Depot. It was 70% off. Now when you have a twist on a 16-foot board, it doesn't really go as well. The board was so twisted once I had screwed it on there. I could tell it was a little twisted, but I didn't realize how twisted it was until I put it on the bottom and already screwed it in. And it was so bad. Here, I'll show you. It was so bad. Like, look at the difference. Once I cut it, it like literally snapped down and relieved a ton of pressure. This actually was like twisting the whole entire thing. And so that was just a mistake on my part, and I should have paid more attention to. I got the pallets free, obviously. And then the 2x6s I actually got from Cole Lumber as well. But I just ended up, once I got to this section, I just went and bought some 2x6s. It was just more worth my time and my money just to buy the correct ones that I needed, that were in good shape. And I just got the cheapest ones I could find. In this spot, I had to create this little weird section right here because it like kind of twisted. And then I threw a rock under there for support. Now, over there, I did use cement. Right here was that last post, the last round post that you see. And then I wanted to move to the 4x4s. Like I said about the super rocky landscape, it is really hard to dig a hole. It literally takes me an hour and a half to dig a hole, cement it, get a post in. It takes me an hour and a half per pole. That's insane. So I got these little like, I don't even know what you call them. If I'm not mistaken, I think these are called Pier blocks, and they have this like bracket in them. That bracket rips out. It's held in by a nail with like a little weight on the end. Absolutely awful. Would never buy them again. These panels together are so heavy that the weight actually is fine and it holds in place. This one's a little sketchy. That's why I have the second rock there. And then I actually cemented the outer post in. Along with all those, I cemented in. That one I think was Cole Lumber, that 4x4 that I got right there. These panels, I was not happy with the pallets at all. And as you could probably tell, it slants completely this way. When I installed it, I wasn't paying attention. It was super heavy. For some reason, this is the only panel I did not use my level on. So it is extremely unlevel. And this just goes to show when you hire people to do things that they take the time, they go the extra mile to do things right. Because if they don't, you end up with this half-assed. It just looks terrible. Didn't spend a whole lot of money on materials, but if you at least take the time to do it right, it doesn't look so bad. Now, obviously, stretching all the way from the back, we have these string lights. Costco had these on sale. I think I got the cheapest ones at $25 or $20 a piece, and then I got some other ones at $30 a piece. Walk around to the back side. I don't even know how I'm doing this anymore. So, over here, you have this little like box right here. That's actually a Bluetooth timer that ties in to a remote that's inside, so I can just shut it off. I could put it on like an hourly timer. I don't do the hourly, I just leave it on, and then when I want it off, I just go and I press it off. It's actually a removable like switch thing. I think I spent $67 on this gate. I can't remember if that was on sale or not, but the one thing I did wrong was I measured wrong. So I kind of knew there was going to be a bit of a gap. I just didn't realize there was going to be an entire foot of a gap. I don't know where I got my measuring from, but it's okay. It ended up working out. It didn't cost a lot of money, and really, if I needed to stack firewood there or something, I could close it off. Now, I wanted to actually make this like a complete privacy fence and like stack the boards opposite of each other, so that way those holes right there would kind of be filled in, and then I wanted to fill in under here. I was gonna do rock, but really I don't have the time or the physical back energy to do this. My back would be dead at the end of this. So you can buy pop-up canopies that are like 20 feet long, 12 feet wide, but the problem is we need like 40 feet. So I was gonna build one out of wood. It was gonna start at the beginning here and go all the way back. If I had any more overhang, it was gonna be over the front, so that way I could park the very tip of my truck under there. I think overall price on the cheapest end would be about $2,500. We just did not get the foundation done in time. It just was not gonna make sense. So we ended up scratching the idea, and I still think I need to do something because we have plenty of snow that kind of falls off this. I've got this giant tarp from Costco. We have a 100-pound tank and a 20-pound tank, and I got a spare 20-pound tank over there. This tarp usually is farther over it, but I need to kind of put it up higher and just make it a little better, make it look a little nicer. Also, we do have the landlord's four-wheeler that they graciously let us use. It's got a plow on it. It is a Honda Foreman Rubicon 500. It's 2001, I think. So the question you're going to ask now is sewage. How, when you skirt it, are you going to be able to get to your sewage and to be able to dump your gray water, your black water, everyone's most non-favorite part of this whole thing? Granted, there is a porta potty, but I am not using that in the winter. We do have this 30-gallon or so black water tank. We got my hose kind of stretched out. This board This panel actually made separate and did not seal it up, so that way you could raise this up and then just connect your hose under there. This is actually a good representation on how we skirted our camper. So I framed it out with 2x3s, put 2-inch board, foam insulation board. I sprayed the cracks and kind of made it airtight-ish. And then I put this 20 mil thick tarp, which it doesn't really look thick on camera, but it is a lot thicker than that cheap stuff you can buy. And then we actually, where the trim is screwed in, we unscrewed the trim and then screwed this into the trim. So undoing the skirting is going to be the absolute biggest pain. It is not meant to be just picked up and moved. If you're getting skirting, if you want skirting that's just going to be able to unlatch, unzip, whatever, pick up, move, there's plenty of options online. Just wanted to do some, I was gonna say fast and easy. I just didn't have time to prep everything else that needed to be done. It was gonna snow. I just did what I could do. Finances that we had, I also couldn't wait to order in all those little snap kit things that you can get. Those would be great, like those grommets would be great for that, but just did not work out in our scenario whatsoever. The only other thing that I really forgot to mention was the stairs. I had to get those done because those little dinky stairs that come on these things suck, and I feel like the whole camper kind of rocks to its side when you step in. Plus, the skirting couldn't be finished if we just used those stairs. It would have been such a pain to work around them, so we just ended up spending some money. You can get some of these stair treads on clearance or coal lumber or whatever, but they suck and they're always split. They're like $28 a piece. Just go buy two. It's worth it. You know, you can always take this, dismantle it. You can always use it somewhere else. I'm sure you'll find a use at some point or another. Just get the right ones. These are all treated except the actual treads themselves. I really didn't want to spend double the money per board to get the treated ones, but these work just perfect. Well, and that's the video. $250 or less, you can build a paradise like this. Now, obviously, it can cost a little more, a little less, depending on your situation and the stuff that you can find or get a good deal on. This is just how it worked out for us, and I wish that this could have been more of a theatrical video, but it didn't end up being that way. Didn't even know I was going to film this to begin with. If this is the type of content that you guys really like to see, let me know down in the comments and I'll try my best to make more content like this. Please let me know. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace.